So our culture is not set up for success.
Right.
It's set up for survival.
Yeah.
And there's other cultures that are set up for like thriving 15, 20, 30 years, generations down the line.
Yeah.
And ours is like, we just need to get through the day.
Yeah. I mean, given that the history of this country, for one, we can't deny that, and there's some things from our culture that's been passed down from trauma.
Right.
So we can't forget the history of this country. What's happening, people? Welcome back to Be More to Do More podcast, where we help you to become the person you need to become to do the things you called to do. Your boy Tone in the building and
Henry A. Harden.
The what?
The third.
Don't forget the three. What's up, bro?
What's up, man?
What we got, man?
Oh, today. All right, so do I want to say I like hood movies?
Yeah,
I don't know
man.
if I like hood movies.
Yeah,
but I did
Boys
watch
in the Hood.
I don't really like hood movies.
All right, cool.
But I did watch Boosie movie.
I didn't see that one. You gotta put me on game on that one.
So, man, I know it's a series of things that have happened over the last week.
Okay,
I would say. And it just has me looking at life. I ain't gonna say life differently,
right?
But there's a lot of different things that play a role into how, like, success and and what different people do to achieve success and those things,
right.
And so I was watching this Boosie movie. And
wait, hold on. Let's not just. You just went from success, how to get success, watching this Boosie movie.
Yeah,
that's
Boosie's successful. What
that's
you
like
mean?
drinking champagne and then going to a 40. Nah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
40 selling billions.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, but in all seriousness though, so I'm watching the movie and I can't remember what part of the movie it was in.
Right.
And I realized, I was like, we're so conditioned.
Yeah.
Our culture.
Yep.
Is so conditioned to overreact to situations. Like, we're trained to overreact to situations, right? Like,
that is true.
And I think that one of the challenges that we see is, and I give you an example, right? Somebody step in my shoes, we immediately go to violence,
right?
Versus just like that person apologizing, or it's even a pride thing, right? The person that stepped on the shoes, are they going to apologize? It's like a
both ways.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
So it's just like oh, I ain't saying I'm sorry, or I ain't, so
do something.
Yeah, like yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that piece, right?
Yeah.
And it's not everybody, but I'm just saying I'm talking about a particular culture that we grew up.
Nah, especially in the hood. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's a given, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because, and again, this is like it's a variety of different things that have happened.
Right.
And I'm sitting down with one of my leaders.
Okay.
And we're talking about different ways to make an impact.
Right.
And I was and I'm very much I need tools. I don't say I need them, but I'm better when I have tools to rely on, or like some type of process to rely on, or like paper to go by, or whatever.
Right.
And my leader looked at me like, you don't really need that. Like, you don't need that.
Right.
And so, and I was telling this leader that I was like, well, I'm reading this book, on this, because I'm trying to get better in this.
Right.
And like, they just kind of give me that like blank stare. Like
crickets.
Yeah, like what? Like, you reading the book? Like almost like that type. And I'm sure that wasn't the whatever, but that's kind of how it felt, right? It's like,
makes sense.
And it just clicked to me. I was like, oh. I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh, you don't like personally self-develop.
Right.
It was like, dang, like how do you, like, and from a formal perspective, right?
Right.
And it's like, dang, how did you get to where you are if you don't like self-develop?
Right.
Like, how is that possible? And it just like hit me. because I was on my way home and I was listening to this podcast, and these two guys, one of them came up in the network marketing industry, one of them didn't, but he's a very I don't know,
he was big in
marketing guru.
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
Kind of he's one of the gurus of this time.
Right.
And they're talking about the different books that they read and the different things, and it just hit me out of, like, it was just like, okay, this is it.
Right.
Our environment, and it kind of goes back to the Boosie move, I guess. Maybe I should have started this way, but we just
you threw it out there. You threw the 40 out there.
Threw the 40
and went back to the champagne. It's cool.
But it made me realize that the reason why that person was able to get to where they are without like having that formal training or formal kind of self-development is because the environment that they grew up in was conditioned for them to be successful in this corporate or, business, success type of atmosphere.
Right.
And I realized through the Boosie movie that we really ain't set up for that.
Right. Well, you said something key though.
What's that?
We not set up for success, but the other day when we talked, we're not set up for success, but we're set up for
survival.
That's it.
Yeah. So we're not. So our culture is not set up for success.
Right.
It's set up for survival.
Yeah.
And there's other cultures that are set up. People don't realize it, right? But they're set up for like thriving 15, 20, 30 years, generations down the line.
Yeah.
Like that's how their whole life is structured.
Right.
And ours is like, we just need to get through the day.
Yeah. I mean, given that the history of this country, for one, we can't deny that, and there's some things from our culture that's been passed down from trauma.
Right.
So we can't forget the history of this country, and I don't like to make it a black and white thing, but there are a lot of issues that we have to brush through to get to that level, of success. Especially we were brought here as laborers, as tools to build success.
Yeah.
So we don't see the other side of success. We only see what it's like to build it. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't see the grander scale of putting pieces together and how to interact with other people and how, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
We're okay. You don't pick cotton, you're gonna get whooped.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like, so I think that the mentality that we have has just been passed down, man, and we're still dealing with that trauma, But yeah, I didn't throw that out there.
Yeah. So it brings me to a bigger question, right? Is how do we go from just surviving and having a survivor's mentality to a thriving mentality?
Okay.
And I think, and there's another thing, right? Because again, I'm listening to these leaders on this podcast, and I'm like,
right,
okay. And it's like, when we've kind of started to figure it out, and I because I had to Google it, I was like self-help industry. Right. I had to Google. I know you hate the self-help industry. I know.
But it started Be More to Do More. So
yeah, true enough.
Yeah.
So, but I Googled it, and I'm like, okay, well, who's the top consumers of like self-help?
Right.
And it was exactly in line with what I thought. Right.
What was it?
It was women. Are the leaders in like self-development or self-help books.
Oh, that's interesting.
And African Americans are the leaders in like consuming self-help stuff.
Right.
And you think about it, right? Like especially like throughout like 2020, it was really highlighted.
Right.
All the different courses, all the different things that people were selling.
Right.
To like, let me teach you how to make X amount of dollars, or let me teach you how to become this whatever. Right. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, it's and it's just like we it's almost for us to be able to be successful in these different spaces. And I don't know, I ain't gonna go into that yet, but for us to be successful in these different spaces, we have to look at things a lot differently than how we were taught growing up.
We do. Let me be a pessimist for a minute.
Right.
Since being a pessimist and not trusting positive people is like our highest video. Like, it just went out this crazy. But anyway, not being a pessimist, let me just put that out there. Isn't it ironic, though? Who are the lesser paid group of people in America?
Women
And
African Americans.
exactly. So wouldn't it be quite convenient to create a product or a platform or what do you call that? A space where people can figure out how to make more money?
Yeah. Dang, so you think it's all set up? It's all set up?
It's Illuminati, man. I'm just playing. Nah, man. I really think that it's just ironic, man. You know,
Yeah.
and I can't say that it was. I hate to believe. I don't like the concept that it was set up.
Yeah.
You know, but I do believe.
Is that us being naive though?
Was that?
Like, is that us being naive that is not set up? Like, is that because, like, I think generally speaking, like, you want to see the good in everybody, right? I think our faith, you know, I ain't gonna say requires us, but like,
Right.
it's almost like in a sense, we have to look at things that way of like,
Yeah.
seeing the good in people. But is that being naive that we know there's people that really out here that have an agenda?
I don't know. See, I don't know if it's set up. Maybe because I don't think like that. But I do know that as a businessman, I would see opportunity there. Oh, these people have a hunger to figure out how to make money. Well, let me put this product in front of them. You know what I mean? Like, I see it more as an opportunity and just being a scound or something. No pun intended.
Scavengers creating opportunities with theology.
You know what I mean? Just being I ain't gonna say savage. I'm not gonna use those harsh terminologies, but I just see it that people found that opportunity. Oh, black people want to make more money. They're gonna spend money to come to this conference, or spend money to buy this book, spend money to buy this course.
Yeah.
So let's give them more. You know, or either women too. You know, women make less. Oh, they're hungry for success because they've been surviving all of their lives. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was necessarily like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make sure the black people and the women stop getting paid, or you know, and we're gonna create this thing, and we're gonna, you know what I mean? I don't think it's that strategic, but I do think it's people out there that's just like, okay, let me milk this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me milk this. So that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think you necessarily, and I think, and this is what I realized too. And I don't know if this may be a hot take, I don't know, but the world is financial.
Yeah, of course.
Like, it's all about being able to make the best, like make a dollar at the end of the day, right? Like,
yes.
And when you really kind of look at, and I don't, this is, again, I haven't even thought about. I'm gonna just say it because it's here now.
Right.
So I'm gonna just see. We'll see how it kind of come out. But like, when you really think about like slavery,
I was gonna go there, but go ahead.
like slavery, this is a hot take, 100%.
I was gonna go there. I'm gonna back you on it too.
Was slavery really designed because they wanted to keep black people down?
Hatred, nah.
Or was it really, and I don't know, I'm sure some historians are going to probably correct me and give me some facts or whatever, or was it more of a situation where we have a group of people in this particular land that we can bring over and we can enslave them?
I think it's more business than anything.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like it was a hatred thing. I feel like it was a lesser than,
right.
You know, these black people less than us, or we're smarter than them. Let's get them and bring them over. And then they had capital too. They had gunpowder, you know, so they had a way to control us. And what they do with their gunpowder, they didn't kill us. I can see if they just, they did kill us, you know. They did kill us.
But I know what you mean. They used us.
Yeah.
They used the
But initially, initially it wasn't, let me just go and shoot all these, you know, black people.
Right.
It was, okay, let me control these black people to build an empire. Free labor, man.
Right.
You know, that's what it is. It's free labor. So
Right.
I don't really think now watching the Best of Enemies. You seen that movie with Taraji when she played dang. Y'all help me out in the comments. Y'all help me out in the comments. But it was about Taraji, and she played this lady who was she was a community activist, and this dude, I forgot his name. Dang, he was a Ku Klux Klan. He was the leader of the Ku Klux Klan or whatever. And in their community, the black school got burnt down. So now the only school that the black kids can go to was the white school. So now they had to kind of figure it out, like, you know, amongst the community. But it was like the Ku Klux Klan against the black people, you know. But in this movie, what you see is that the Ku Klux Klan really hated black people, right? But they was poor. You feel me? Like, we was in the same boat to a degree. They was poor, man. And it was like, they was poor, but y'all lesser than us.
Yeah.
But you will see government officials using them to control us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And that's where 100%. And I don't know how we got here, but we here.
We here. It's culture, man. It's influence and all that. Yeah.
Like, sometimes the micro is a lot. The perspective of the micro is a lot different than the perspective of the macro.
It is. Yeah.
Right. And I think, like, we grew up in the micro of things, right? Like, you know, this person hates this person just because of their skin color.
Right, yeah.
But when you really look at the macro of things, it's officials,
right?
People with, you know, generational wealth, power,
maneuvering
situations,
right,
to be able to control the dynamic of the dollar.
Right, that's true.
At the end of the day.
That's true. That's true.
So, you know, yes, there's people that really hate people because of their skin.
Right. Yeah.
But when you look at the bigger picture of why this happened, it was more so because somebody was trying to
manipulate it.
Yeah, make their stretch it, right? You know, try to stretch a dollar,
right.
it. When obviously it was back then it was more so about, you know, land, cattle, you know, all that stuff, but like
right.
You know, more about natural resources and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, man, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's why when you begin to look at the bigger picture, the micro begin to seem a lot less solid. You know what I mean? I think that's why when black people get rich or they get to another level in life, people start calling them Uncle Toms, and all this stuff, man. And because they don't see the bigger picture, all they see is the micro, because they're down there on ground level of survival.
Dang.
You know, it's in churches, bro.
Yo.
It's in churches.
Dang.
Yeah.
100%. Because that's 100%. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. So, so it almost like, cause you like, I'm sure you felt it, right? Where I don't want to get too successful,
right? Yeah,
because
I
know somebody gonna say I sold out, or you know what?
Right?
Soldier can't come to the hood,
right?
You know? Like silly stuff. Like it's just like, bro, you hit it.
That might be the demise of our success too.
Dang, I can't get too big.
Yeah,
because they're gonna think that I'm an Uncle Tom or I'm a
right.
But you
I don't want them to think I'm changing.
Yeah, your perspective is different.
Yeah,
and it's 100%. Because like, again, it's not taking. And it's we're a leadership podcast.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Business, you know, obviously have our spiritual and our cultural, you know, take on it, but the things that we experience. But like, as a leader, when you're, you know, moving up inside of a company, even.
Right. Yes.
And you have people that haven't gotten to your level. They haven't had the same experiences that you've had. They don't see the things from your perspective, the way that you see it.
That's true.
They see it as, oh, you're trying to, you know, you're telling me this because, oh, this is what the company say, or this is. No, dude, I'm telling you this because this is actually going to help you put your family in another situation.
Right. Yeah, it's going to take you to another level.
Like it's not like it has nothing to do with like, don't get me wrong. Like, yes, it may be a situation where the company,
Right.
whatever, right? But it's going to help you in the long term more than it's going to help the company, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like, but some people cannot see past that because they think that there's this agenda of
that's true.
keeping them down.
Right.
But really, the agenda is let's make the most money as possible.
Right.
And so that means we may have to treat people a certain way, in the best way.
That's true.
Right.
Right.
And that may not coincide with the short term of you making this $1 today, but you might be able to make $5 tomorrow.
Right.
You know, like
right. See,
it's a different mentality,
man.
Sometimes.
But what do you think that keeps them there though?
What do you think?
That's going back to the topic, man. The conditional environment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I find it like the Lord gave me this revelation 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's always one influencer in a family. Have you noticed that? Or not even gonna say one, maybe a few influencer that influence.
Oh,
you know, and I, for me, man, I ain't gonna say who, but like when I was growing up, like my perspective on politics, you know, Democratic, Republicans hate black people like that. You know what I mean? But I always had an influencer to feed this information to me, man. So coming up, like I struggled with the idea of money. I struggled with the idea of business because of these different influences that were in my life, you know? So I find it that families and communities, they have a few influencers in their families to spew this information, you know, and to I guess uphold this culture in the family, in the community, you know, the culture of surviving and stuff like that. Hey man, go get you a government job. Get on
go work for the post office.
Yeah, get you a government job. Either go get you a check. You know what I mean, or get on Session 8. You know what I mean? Like these type of ideologies is governing the families and communities because of those few influencers in our lives. So
and this is what I don't want to discount as well. Because some, you know, part of our cultured environment or a cultivated environment that we have in our conditioned environment is we were also brought up in a lot of love.
Yeah.
A lot of, I don't know, at least in my situation, like we joke about everything.
Right.
Like we don't find. I ain't gonna say that we don't take nothing serious because we do. Right. But we find the comedy
in everything.
Right. And like, you know, it could be the worst situation, but we gonna figure out a way to smile through it, right? Yeah. And so there's some things that like that the environment that you were conditioned in are, you know, play a positive role in your
most definitely
upbringing.
Most definitely.
But I think you got to be able to marry those things with the things that you've learned through self-development.
Right.
And that's when you really get the chance to have like the magic sauce.
Right.
You know, to be able to move your family, your situation, everybody around you forward.
Now I am going to the other side though, because we ain't gonna just talk about our culture though.
Okay.
I am going to the other side, man, because we talk about, you know, our culture and how we created these barriers that would block our success, and we talk about some of our mindsets that, you know, keeps us in survival mode.
Yep.
But I also want to talk about not the Ku Klux Klan because they po too, but I want to talk about the people who's in the higher ups. You know what I mean? Who's in these positions to promote you or whatnot? Because here's the thing: although slavery, I'm not gonna say it wasn't. I can't say it was. It wasn't only about hate, right?
Right.
But it was about I'm better than you.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Regardless of what.
Everybody, not everybody. But yeah, you got a lot of people that feel entitled.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and I'm better than you.
Yeah. I mean, you see that that's not even just.
I'm gonna say white people, bro.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say like.
So you don't think some white people had it?
Think about sport, bro.
Okay.
You know, a few months ago, whatever. Kendrick Lamar comes out and he says, "Ain't no big three. It's just big me."
Right.
Like that's in every.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the difference though, and I'm gonna say white people, and I'm gonna be real with it. And I'm not saying this because just like us, we have some things that we grew up with,
Right.
and some ideologies that we were raised in and cultivated from.
Mm-hmm.
They have too.
Okay.
And I'm not taking shot at white people as individual people.
Right.
I'm just saying what the culture created and
Right.
how
In America.
Yeah, in America, and how everything was formatted when we first got here. It's just how it was set up.
Yeah.
You know, is that, hey, you know, okay, so I did a not an interview, but it's this African American reform group at this church that we partner with. And shout out to them. I don't know his name. Shout out to my brother Paige. And he would tell you straight up, he was like, yo, I was a racist. And I knew what he meant when he said it. I didn't even get mad. You know what I mean? I knew what he meant when he said it. He meant that I was brought up to think that we were better than y'all, you know? And I can't blame him, you know what I mean? Because now he's making an effort to break free from those ideologies.
Right.
Now he's willing to learn who we are as people.
Right.
You know, and same vice versa, you know? Like,
Right.
yo, we understand that we got some mess in us that we were brought up in. You feel me? So what happened is we tend to bring this into our working environments, and we tend to bring this into other, you know, in our businesses, or, you know, how we view people. Even like, and I was like, yo, I was brought up that y'all was better than us too, you know, because I used to think, man, it seemed like white people they got better lives than we do. You know what I mean? Like, why is like they always happy? Because when you see them on TV, they smiling, but when you see us, we yelling, you know what I mean? It was a depiction even in media. So like, we grew up with these ideas that y'all were better, but now we are on a mission to break free from these ideas. So I'm not taking shots at white people as, oh, y'all bad people. I'm saying, hey, we got our problems, but y'all got y'all problems too.
Right.
And y'all need to realize what y'all problems are, especially in the working community, in corporate. You feel me? Because, yo, we got some people out here that are our color that can run circles around. You know what I mean? But I need y'all to know that, and I need y'all to understand that and respect it. You know, just like y'all would do with y'all counterparts. You know, so I'm not being malicious towards like, oh, Black Power. You know, and I feel like I shouldn't have to back that up either, because we are people.
Yeah, and what I'm perceiving you're saying is everybody is able to be successful.
For sure.
And just because, but sometimes we're conditioned based on how we grew up.
Right.
To success looks different.
Right.
And you're just challenging the people that have traditionally been in these leadership and you know, powerful roles.
Right.
To look at things differently, because because they didn't come up in the same, it's like DE&I, right? Like,
yeah.
Just because they didn't come up in the same way that you grew up, or they didn't really have the same experiences that you had.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they can't do the job better than you.
10 times better than. And let me tell you something about that survival mode, bro. Like, when a brother break free from that survival mode and begin to elevate his level of thinking, he's going to take what he learned from survival mode and apply it with.
Right.
Ooh, that's a dangerous brother.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Because not only do he know how to get it, but he know how to be calm, be cool, be collective, and pretty much have a relationship with people, man. So, like, that's the part, you know, I won't. Survival mode ain't all that bad, you know. I don't want my son to go through it, but
I'm about to say survival mode is definitely
I don't want my son.
Is definitely not a great place to be at.
Nah.
There's positives out of survival mode, like, you know, because when you're in survival mode, you got to depend on people.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you have to depend on the people that are around you.
Yeah. Depend. Nipsey Hussle said something key. Did you hear his quote?
Maybe.
Man, he talked about our people in survival mode. He was like, you only thinking about you when you're in survival mode. You ain't thinking about nobody but you, how I can get this, how I can get that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not thinking about.
Well, yeah, if they outside of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying
yeah.
Well, I guess when I'm thinking about like from a family perspective. Right?
Yeah.
I was telling my kids I was telling my kids this the other day. I was like, because there's some, what song was it? Oh, so Big X the Plug got a song, and he says, "I remember being so broke, had to share one piece of chicken. It was like, he said couldn't clear my, or he said couldn't even afford a biscuit. Dang, what he said? I remember being so broke, we shared one piece of chicken, couldn't even afford a biscuit, couldn't even afford to clear my throat because the drink was $2.50." Right, and it's like, and it reminded me of, and I was telling my kids this. I was like, you know, me and your uncle, so my brother, you know, we had to share like we would take $5 and we would go get a sub from Subway,
right,
and we'll split it down the middle.
Right,
we had to share. We ain't had no drink. We ain't had no money for no drink.
Right,
like, we ain't had like we had to figure out how to do what we're gonna do with these $5,
right,
and we had to make that thing last.
Man, what?
You know what I'm saying?
What?
So like. So it's just
back in the day, you could do a lot with $5.
So my point,
I can tell you a couple of things I could have did with $5 right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, or take $5, and we would get 4, or get 2 McChickens, 2 double cheeseburgers.
Yep.
Right.
Yep,
and that's how we would eat that.
Right.
Like we would. So that's what I mean by like sometimes survival mode brings that teamwork, because it's like, I gotta look out for you, bro.
Yeah,
right.
family,
I gotta look at, you know what I'm saying,
right,
like,
right.
And then sometimes like you'll find people that are in a similar spot as you,
right.
That okay, like this, me personally, I believe that like your real friends are the people that really like came out the mud with you. Me personally, right? That's how I feel. Like,
right.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you're gonna have colleagues, you're gonna have people that you have close relationships with, that, you know, y'all meet when you're successful and boom, boom, right? And it probably will always be good, right?
Right.
But the people you come up with in a certain thing, and that don't mean that. I feel like I'm rambling right now.
Nah, go ahead, man.
Rolling, right?
Nah, man, go ahead.
That don't mean that like that. Okay, so like, let's say you make $1 million,
right?
Right. You're successful. You're not out of whatever, right? But let's say you want to go on start something new, like, oh, you know what? I want to start doing horticulture, and I want to, make these plants the best plants or whatever.
Right.
So you kind of start doing something completely different than what you traditionally do.
Right.
And the person that you partner with there, you're gonna have a different vibe, a different, because that's you coming from the bottom again.
That's true. That's
right.
True.
So I just, I think
y'all getting it out the mud again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
now that I do believe that people need to learn how to get it from the mud.
Yeah.
You know what 100%. I mean? Yeah. Man, you said something key. Dang. I remember. You got a lyric, bruh? Because I know you mentioned Big X the Plug, but I know that ain't who it is.
Yeah, what if it wasn't the lyric, right? Definitely wasn't the lyric. So yeah, I got a lyric.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. We moved some things over. Hold on. There we go. All right, what we got, bro? What we got?
All right, so lyric of the week comes from J. Cole.
J. Cole?
And he says, if someone disrespect, yes, we ready to fight.
Right.
In retrospect, it seems petty, but at the time it was heavy.
Ooh.
And for me, what that lyric kind of represents, especially this conversation that we're having,
right? Like,
we're raised. Mm-hmm. If somebody disrespects you,
right? If
somebody even look at you the wrong way or whatever,
right?
Like this whole, the whole Kansas City Super Bowl, like, they had the Super Bowl parade.
Yeah.
And those are some people shooting or whatever.
Right.
It happened because I ain't like the way the person was looking at me.
Wow.
Like, it was ignorance.
It made sense to them too, though.
To them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in that culture, right? But in retrospect, when you look at certain things, in retrospect, it's petty.
Right.
But at the time, it was heavy. So you'll realize that a lot of the things that you, and I I remember too, like, just in middle school, right?
Mm-hmm.
you want to be, and I'll even compare it to like when I was in college too, right? Where like, man, you know what? Hey, all my friends gang banging. So I'm about to bang too, right? Because it's heavy at that time, right?
Right.
Or like, oh, you know, I got different, you know, peers that's joining this fraternity. I got, you know, some other friends that join a sorority, right? Like,
right.
Man, I should do that too. But like,
Right.
Again, when you look back on those things, it's like, it really ain't. It ain't really, you know.
Nah,
it really ain't, I didn't really need to do those things,
right.
So it's just don't get so caught up in your things that you have going on right now,
right,
that you kind of discount your future. If that makes sense, or you really mess up your future. So yes, it's tough right now,
right,
and there's gonna be some things that you're unlearning,
right.
But how you go about these things going forward,
right,
you'll realize it's really petty.
Petty potty.
Petty.
Yeah. Man, I'm gonna talk about me in therapy, then I'm gonna get into the scripture of the day. But it's tough to break free from cultural influence.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is that, okay, me being a reverend, a minister, you know, I stand on that.
Minister Tone.
I stand on that.
Minister Tone.
Stop running away from that, man. But what I'm realizing is that even all the conversations with the Lord, all my studying and reading, going to church, preaching, whatever, you know, it's still tough to break free from. And in therapy, what I'm learning is that I have a weird relationship with my feelings. You know what I mean? Because culture, you know, influences taught me that it don't matter how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or we shouldn't get mad, or we shouldn't feel. I'm gonna say as men, you know. So in therapy, what I'm learning is that, you know, she's telling me to express myself, but I don't know how I feel. And she was like, well, that's a problem, you know? So I'm noticing that, okay, I got to get better in my emotional intelligence. You know, I thought I was pretty self-aware, emotionally intelligence, but all along, some of the stuff I was suppressing, you know, and didn't know it. So some of the stuff I have to learn how to communicate with myself, you know, some of the feelings and emotions that I have to learn how to communicate those things with myself so I can see what the problems and the triggers are. But what I learned is that all of this is stemmed back from upbringing, culture, what's okay in our environment. And, you know, I know it's a lot of people out there that need to break free from influences in their environment. What happened is that influence create culture, you know, or it adds to culture. I think it creates and adds to culture. And then you get kind of caught up in this pot of, you know, values and moralities and, you know, ideologies and stuff like that. And it causes you to act out, react, you know, it causes you to do things that we as people wasn't called by God to do. So I think that if you are looking to break free from the influence in your life first, we have to go to Romans 12, I think chapter 2, where the word says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And that scripture is giving you steps, whether you know it or not. It says, be not conformed to this world. So what it's telling you is to discredit the world point of view, discredit your culture. I'm not saying throw it all the way out, but in this instance, it's best for you to give those ideas to God. You know what I mean? And just let them go, right? Give them to God and let them go. He know what to do with them. He know how to use them for you, and he know how to develop them for you. Then it says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed. It's telling you to be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Right.
When we look at that word renew in the Greek, what it means to renovate. You know what it's like to demo a house, to renovate? You have to break everything up. You have to gut everything out. You have to clear house so that now you can be transformed. So you have to discredit what you've learned so that now the Lord can impart himself. That's what it means to be filled with the Spirit of the Lord, or filled with the Holy Spirit. The more you let go, the more he can fill you. You know, the more you let go of your experiences, the more he can use those experiences for the purpose that he created for your life. So we have to learn to break free from these influences by first discrediting what our past has taught us, discrediting what the world has taught us, discrediting influences in our lives. Give them to God, gut everything out, and let him fill you with the word.
Ooh, bars.
So, wait.
Bars.
There we go. So that's my scripture of the day, man.
Love it. Look at you diving into your restorative trait.
Hey, man. You feel me? Actually, that's exhortation.
Oh, that's exhortation.
Remember the spiritual? Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. And it's like, how can you use the word and apply it to your life, you know, and the experiences you have from the relationship you have with God? How can you use those to, you know, develop yourself? Development, pretty much. Yeah, man. So, what you got?
That's all I got.
That's all I got, man. Hey, look, bro. Look, man. We know that there's cultural influences in our lives and stuff like that, but it's best to do this. Write down the things that you think that you're doing right. Write down the things that you've learned that might have been wrong, you know, and let's try to figure it out. Now, how you do that? Go and get that "What Am I Doing Right" journal. It's our what am I doing right leadership journal. You can get that on Amazon. I think over here. So it should be somewhere over here. You'll see it. But what am I doing right leadership journal? And I think that's it. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Wait, hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Hey, man, we got a new setup here. I'm trying to figure this stuff out, man. And I think we out.
You told somebody to keep their head up because you concerned about them. Stick and move, we can get it done. Call it unity, it ain't no way around it. Cultivating, we get motivation from the big guy. We don't play about them. Going hard for the game, short.